Welcome back to another episode of Real Chums, where chatting about movies feels like hanging out with friends. I'm your host, Marcel, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Danny.
This week we discuss Rebel Ridge, directed and written and edited by Jeremy Saulnier, starring Aaron Pierre, Anna Sophia Robb, Don Johnson, and many more.
In this episode, we discuss the incredible writing, directing, and editing by Jeremy Saulnier, the powerful tension in the script and action sequences, and why this just may be Netflix's best action film of the year. But before we roll that intro, be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcast and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode.
Listen, join in on that conversation right now by going to YouTube and subscribing to our channel at Real Chums. With that being said,
let's roll that intro. All right, Danny, I have the question of the day.
bring it, bro.
We're going to stray away from the topic at hand of Rebel Ridge that we're going to be discussing, and I'm going to do a quiz for you.
Why?
I know you love these quizzes. No, you don't, but I love giving you these quizzes. So I'm going to give you about 10, 12 different movie titles in Spanish, and you have to guess the movie based on the Spanish title. So the reason I'm doing is, right, so like a movie will come out in American, in English, right? And then somewhere in like Norway, it could be like I don't know. It could be Batman, and then in Norway, the movie's titled The Man That Lives at Night or something like that, right?
Yeah, so, okay, yeah. I love this. I'm here for this. I'm
going to give you a couple movies. You have to guess. We're going to start super easy and build our way up.
Deal. Let's go.
Okay, all right. The first one, El Padrino.
The Godfather.
Good job. Oh, it's too easy. Okay, second, El Club de la Pelea.
Fight Club, bro.
Good job. You got this. This one's pretty easy too. Apocalipsis Ahora.
Apocalypse Now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This is where it gets hard. La Ventana Indiscreta. We've talked about discussing this movie. La Ventana Indiscreta.
Okay, so it's window.
If you were to translate this movie,
translating English. In English is like the window discreet, or what is La Ventana
Indiscreta.
Indiscreta is indiscreet. Okay, hold
on. You want me to give you some hints?
Give me one hint. Okay, don't.
It's a Hitchcock movie.
Oh, freak. I know what this he's like looking across the he's like an apartment guy, and he's like, fine, what the freak is that movie called? Rear Window.
La Ventana, the indiscreet window.
The indiscreet, yeah. Okay, sweet. Good one. Nice. Let's go to next.
Milagros Inesperados.
Okay, so
Unexpected Miracles.
Yeah. Give me the year.
Unexpected Miracles. You'll never guess this.
Give me the year.
It came out in 99. It's also... I'll give you the lead star.
Okay.
Tom Hanks. Unexpected Miracles.
99, Tom Hanks. Is Miracles even part of the actual...
Yeah, there's miracles. Yeah, definitely. There is.
Genre. Give me the genre.
The genre would be I don't know, like a fantasy fiction. It's like a fantasy crime drama.
Okay, Tom Hanks, 99. I don't know this one.
The Green Mile.
What is it in Spanish?
Milagros Inesperados.
The Green Mile. Hold on.
Unexpected Miracles. You know The Green Mile, right?
Yes, I do know that. I was like, I just was like...
The Green Mile.
This is a good quiz, bro.
Okay, all right.
I love that you're having so much fun with this.
All right. Una aventura de altura.
Una aventura de altura. An adventure of high adventure.
Yeah, of height. An adventure of height.
What year?
This came out in 2009. An adventure.
Something
of
about
height.
the race to which mountain or
The race to which
which mountain?
No.
Okay.
Close. No, not close. Same studio ish.
Una aventura de altura.
Una aventura de altura.
Is it an action?
There is some action elements in there. I would say an adventure movie.
Okay, adventure movie. Okay, I think those. So adventure movie in 2009.
I'll give you a big hint. It's animated.
Oh, freak! What came out in 2000 that was animated? Who's the voice actor? Who's a
voice actor? The lead voice actor would be Edward Asner.
Is this a Disney movie?
Yeah,
or a Pixar movie?
It's a Pixar movie.
Is it WALL-E?
No. Good guess though. Una aventura de altura.
Yeah,
an
right.
Adventure.
Yeah,
Of height.
of height.
Think of what kind of adventure could happen in
The sky.
height
Height.
in the sky.
Oh, is it Up?
Yeah, it's up.
Nice.
The official title is Oop, una aventura de altura.
Classic freaking studios don't know how to market to Hispanics, but it doesn't matter because the trailer does it great.
Yeah. Okay, next. Música y obsesión.
Música y obsesión. So music and obsession.
And obsession.
What year?
This came out in 2014. You'll know this one. I'll give you 7 seconds and I'll give you a big hint.
Is this La La Land?
Música y obsesión. Close. Very close.
Okay, hold on.
Very close, actually. But no.
Okay, so it's not
La La Land came out after
this.
After this, yes.
Música y obsesión. Okay, so hold on. What year did you say?
2014.
2014. So I would have been able to see this movie.
I'll give you a big hint. We talked about it we did a podcast episode on this.
Okay. Oh,
And
Whiplash.
Whiplash. Good job. Yep.
Música
y obsesión.
Interesting. It was called Música y obsesión.
Yeah.
Oh,
Music and obsession. I mean,
I think they should have left it as Whiplash in Spanish. Well, I guess because in Spanish you can't read the H.
yeah.
Just take out the H. Just Whiplash.
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 This one's going to be very hard.
Is this the final?
No, I've got 2 more
Deal.
after this.
I'm doing pretty good.
Hey, yeah.
In my opinion, I feel like I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, you're doing good. Sueño de fuga.
Okay, so fire of dream of
Yeah. A flame. Yeah. I don't know how. I mean,
what? Okay, so hold on. I'm gonna ask 3 questions.
Okay, I'll give you 3 questions. There's no way you're gonna get this.
What genre?
I would say this is a drama.
What year?
90. Let me double check. 94.
Freak, this is gonna be hard. Have I seen this movie?
I think you have.
Okay, so that's 3 questions I've asked. Can I ask one more question?
Yeah, dude, that's go away.
What's it rated?
R.
Okay, so I think I knew. Is it True Lies?
No.
Okay, you said what was this? Sorry, give me the name of it again.
Sueño de fuga.
Okay, Sueño de fuga. And you said it was what genre again? Sorry, you said it was a drama.
A drama, yeah. No, fuga. Sorry, fuga means leak, like you have a gas leak.
Oh, Sueño. Okay. Who's the actor? Who's the main star?
The main star.
Is this gonna give it away?
Is Tim Robbins.
Oh, I have no idea.
I'll give you the lead co-star, Morgan Freeman.
Dude, I'm drawing a blank, dude. I'm like, I can't. Hold on.
Same director.
Tim Robbins, Morgan Freeman.
Same director as The Green Mile.
Freak. I don't know this one.
The Shawshank Redemption.
Freak, dude. Here's the thing. I would have never gotten that for sure. The Shawshank Redemption. I should have gotten it when you told me the same director as The Green Mile. But
Yeah.
I don't.
Have you seen it?
I have like one time.
Yeah.
The Green Mile I've also seen. No,
Yeah.
I've seen Green Mile twice.
I think I've seen it once. Yeah. Okay. This one. El Origen.
The Origin?
The Origin.
What year?
2010.
Okay.
You can
is this a movie that we've done?
We have not done this one on the pod.
Have we?
El Origen. The Origin.
Yeah. El Origen. What genre?
I would say this is a sci-fi adventure.
Sci-fi adventure.
2010.
What's it rated?
PG-13.
Sci-fi adventure. Is it animated?
It is not animated. Stacked cast.
Stacked cast. Oh, 2020. There was a lot of movies that had stacked cast in 2010. Is this a Marvel movie?
It is not.
I like how this turned into a game of 20 questions.
El Origen. Do you want me to give you...
So hold on. So it's 2010. You said sci-fi action?
Sci-fi adventure. But yeah, there's action in there for sure.
Sci-fi adventure. That's a little different than action. So sci-fi adventure. It is PG 13. Who's the main?
Leo DiCaprio.
The Departed?
No.
Hold on. This is 2020. I think Departed came out before.
Yeah, Departed came out before.
The Great Gatsby?
El Origen.
That's not. Yeah, you're right. You said sci-fi. I know. I'm just freaking thinking DiCaprio. Okay, give me one other hint. What's one other hint you can give me?
Co-star is Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I forget. DiCaprio and Levitt. Oh, this is Inception.
Yeah, Inception.
Oh,
El Origen. The Origin.
that's a terrible name.
That is a terrible name.
What? Okay.
All right, my last one.
Oh, this is not. That was not the last one. Oh,
this is the last one. Los Infiltrados.
The Infiltrated.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so what year?
2006.
Okay, 2006.
I'll give you
Yeah, give me.
a big hint. You previously guessed it, and it was not right, obviously. Los Infiltrados, The Infiltrated.
The Departed.
The Departed, yep.
Nice. Well, okay, so okay, I what? This was awesome. We should do it again sometime. Next time, I'm gonna come up with all of them.
Okay.
And they're gonna be some ridiculous genre, all from one thing. Anyways, what inspired you to want to do this?
I was watching. My kids right now are watching. They really like watching like TV and movies on Disney Plus in Spanish.
Dude, I tried to get my kids to watch TV in Spanish because that's like one of the best ways to get the kids to like learn Spanish, and they hated it, and it pissed me off because like what do you mean you don't like this? Come on.
It's and what were they watching recently? They're obsessed. They've been watching all year long Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, I mean, you can't blame them though.
Yeah, no. And so we were watching it in Spanish, and it was just it's funny. The voice cast in Spanish is great, and it like I don't know. There's just some jokes that are just
they land harder.
Yeah. You know what's really funny in Spanish? Shrek.
I was gonna bring this up.
Spanish is hilarious.
Yes, So the actor who plays Donkey is like a famous comedian,
Eugenio Derbez.
Yeah. And he's hilarious. Like he outdoes Eddie Murphy so hard.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I remember watching it when it came out. We had it in DVD and we put it in Spanish, and it's funny. It's hilarious.
If you're trying to learn Spanish and you like are trying to figure, Shrek is an amazing one to watch in Spanish.
Yeah,
it's very. It'll take you probably a little bit to like fully catch some of the stuff that happens, but it's highly recommend.
And it also like it's very like obviously Shrek is very like pop cultural reference.
Yeah.
Right. So like even some of like the references in Spanish, it goes between like if you watch like the Mexican Central America dubbed, yeah, it's funny. Watch it. It's really good.
Oh, man, I'm so glad that you. I was like, I bet he better watch
Shrek. I haven't seen it in years, and now that my girls have been watching stuff in Spanish, I'm like, I want to watch Shrek in Spanish now.
I actually was thinking how much I think Shrek is so underrated.
I've watched the first two. I can't say I've watched the third, or how many are there? 5 now?
Ooh, you know what? That's a good question. I thought there was only 4. No, that's well, okay, so there's Shrek 2, Shrek the Third, and then Shrek Forever After. There's Shrek the Halls, which are like
the little
those don't count.
And I haven't seen any of the Puss in Boots movies.
You've never seen any of the Puss in Boots?
No, and I hear the last one is really good.
The last one is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It is phenomenal, dude. It's the story's super well written. Lobo will give your kids nightmares, and
I need to watch it.
It's so good. I have it. I'll let you.
I think it's on.
It's on HBO. No,
Paramount.
So one of those.
One of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Peacock. Whatever it is. Yeah. All right, that was fun.
That was super fun. We'll do that again for sure. Well, we're gonna be discussing Rebel Ridge. So thanks for the little tangent, but we are gonna bring it. This is relatively new. I wanted to talk about it with you because I think this movie might end up being my movie of the year.
Really?
I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think
hold on. Now I'm gonna hold you to that. You've watched Dune Part 2, okay?
Yes.
Your next highly anticipated movie is Wicked, and you're saying Rebel Ridge is probably gonna beat out those two.
I said might.
Okay, all right.
I did say might, and that might be do some heavy lifting. But I really enjoyed this movie, and yeah, I think it's gonna be if it's not the top, it'll be for sure second, or top 3.
Look, you mentioned you wanted to watch this. I hadn't seen it by the time you had seen it like twice already, and yes. I saw all the hype on Twitter. Everyone was talking about it, getting lots of love. There's some of the like behind the scenes controversy. We'll touch lightly on it, but then you convinced me to do it. I watched it, dude. I love this movie.
Yes, and I'm so excited to talk about it. So let's just get into it. Look, the premise of this movie is a military vet is going to ex-Marine. Yes,
to be specific, because
correct. Ex-Marine going to bust out his cousin who has got in trouble in the law, and he's worried about him. Gets caught up in a police scandal that leaves him to question whether he should what he should do next.
Yes. I love it. Perfect. Look, this movie, as we mentioned, directed by Jeremy Saulnier. I haven't seen... Look, this is a director that I've really wanted to get into, and I just haven't gotten around to his stuff. He's famous for having done Green Room, Blue Ridge? No.
Yes.
Blue Ruin. Hold the Dark. So just a great all-around director. And this movie started production back in like 2019, man.
I don't think I realized that.
And so this is his first movie in 7 years. And I think it's because of the bumpy road that it had in its production. It was supposed to start filming, then COVID hit. That paused everything for a while. Then they started filming again. They got like 2.5, almost 3 weeks in, and then what's his face? John Boyega had to drop out, and so then they put a pause on it for another like year and a half. Then they started production again with Aaron Pierre as the lead, as Terry Richmond, and finally it came out. So like this movie, which is I want to start off with this. Like, we often talk about like studio interference,
Yeah.
and how so many great creative and directors, writers, etc., get bogged down by the big machine that is the studio.
Yeah.
And like, shout out to Netflix for like having had every opportunity to say, no, let's scrap this. Like, and they didn't.
You know what? So this is, I'm glad you bring this up. I was actually thinking about this. I'm like, why didn't this get scrapped? Right. And I think there's two things. You brought this up last week when you brought up,
James Gunn.
James Gunn's 7 principles for filming.
Yeah.
And I think that they knew the script. Everybody loved the script. And they believed in Jeremy.
Yeah.
I think those two things were like, we're okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to happen. We're going to make it happen. Just hang in there. And I might be reading into this, but that's what I think they had. I mean, David Denneman is in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, Don Johnson, and Anna Sophia Robb, all of these characters, all these actors are really great.
Yes, yes. And again, like, you had David Denman, who plays Officer Marston, and the other officer, Officer Lan, played by Emery Cohen. Those were originally played by different people, but because this movie kept getting delayed, they had to drop out, and then you had these individuals come in. And so, like, I know we dog on studios often, but, like, great job. And to your point, I think this is a very clean, smart, and efficient script. Again, directed and written and edited by Jeremy.
What?
Yeah.
This is my hero.
This is
now.
like the trifecta.
This is my hero, dude.
This man is incredible.
I am here for this. I didn't realize that he edited this movie.
Yeah, so we love a good, like, writer, director, an individual who does both writing and directing. But, like, to up it up by also doing the editing, like, great stuff from Jeremy here. And I believe he's done that for all of his big movies. For Green Room, Blue Ruin, he's written, directed, and edited. But, like, this is a story that there's a very clear story, clear motivations, very smart. And I think that's, when we say this often, when you let creatives create and believe in them and help them light that fire that they have, you get great stuff like this.
Do you know the budget? I didn't look up the budget.
It's like $28 million.
Bro, that's super low.
28,900,000. So let's bump it up to 29 million.
I mean, that's a great budget for Netflix. Maybe that might have been the case. Like, look, we're not dumping a lot of money. We're putting other stuff there. This will help buy us over for something. But that's awesome. Look, this maybe this is the reason why I like it. Like, hit hard for me is that when you have a creator, when you have a filmmaker who crafted the story from written to directing to the edit, and if he's done this for most of his bigger films, he's a man. He's a filmmaker who understands that there's going to be a process, but he also means that he's efficient.
Yeah,
it could mean that he's efficient, and it also can mean that he's already shooting in his head on some things. So he might get exactly what he wants, but then ends up can do some more fun things, or wraps it up more. They just get to do. They're like, super effective on what it is. I don't know if I don't know what his story, his production is like. Because some people, like in what movie did we talk about where it's M. Night Shyamalan's, the storyboard is the Bible.
Yeah.
I don't know if Jeremy's storyboard is the Bible, right? But if it is, then cutting it is easy. Mm-hmm. Literally, it's just like filling it in and then making sure we get the right take or the right performance or right whatever. But to your point, this movie is super, super just clean. It's not clinical, like in the sense of like, I mean, maybe it is. Would you call it clinical?
Ish. I mean, I had a lot, not a lot. I had some issues in like the second act, like middle to end of second act, where we have Terry and what's her name, Summer, going to one person and then going to the next person just to like get us like that whole going to her buddy at the city hall, and then from there going to the judge, and then from the judge going down to city hall, and like that felt a little bit. I got not bored, but I was just kind of like, oh come on, like we know what we're going to. Let's speed it up, right? I think that's the only issue I had in this movie.
So it's funny you bring this up because I actually had the same when I watched it the second time. That was the point that I also. The first time I watched it, I didn't have an issue with it.
Yeah.
When I watched it the second time, that was the point because I already knew where we were going.
Yeah.
Like exactly where we were going, right? And I was like trying to think, what was it? Like, what did they miss up on the set? Like, what was the setup that we missed, that they missed in the story, right? And I was, as I was thinking about this, I think part of it is there's a bit of dilemma. I think when we get pulled back, we're driving. When Terry gets pulled back to help out Summer,
yeah,
because
the police
come drugged her, and he is helping. That initiates the bigger arc of the story of like what it is, right? Mm-hmm. And I think the reason why I'm okay with and I'm loving it is because at the end of this whole film, it's about Terry and his internal code, and that he is trying to make a right. It's not necessarily a revenge movie, but he wants things to be right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I like that because I think my perspective and my point of view for this movie has been like, I feel like it was very. I lean towards it being a revenge movie. But to your point, like looking at the character motivations, he's trying to right the wrong here, right? And let's go full spoilers ahead. Again, listeners, if you haven't seen this, it's on Netflix. It just came out like 2-3 weeks ago. Lots of hype.
We told you about it.
We told you about it. But I mean, the whole movie is built around civil asset forfeiture. Okay, which I had no idea it's a thing.
Which is really smart. It was like that exposition portion with Summer and Terry, because Terry comes into town, and the opening is
okay. Let's talk about the opening. Go, tell me.
Okay, so the opening is literally music, and we're just jamming out to this rock, to rock. I can't remember what the song
Iron
is.
Maiden.
Yes, Iron Maiden. And Terry's just jamming out. He's rocking with his bike, coming in, and then we see a police car behind him trying to get around him. And then he gets clipped by the police officer, gets thrown from his bike, and then immediately, essentially being handcuffed on the ground.
Yes.
And we know that this is straight up the police officer's fault.
Yeah, yeah. I cannot remember the last time a movie grabbed me and grabbed my attention so quickly, so efficiently, and so full of emotion like Rebel Ridge did. I love, and I think I've seen that opening scene. I've seen it maybe 4 times already. And every time I'm at the edge of my seat and I'm just like, how? Like, freaking cop, man.
Well, and it's not
freaking
like
David Denman.
Oh, man. Look.
And let's break that down because he gets knocked out, right? And then the cop's telling him that he's been chasing him for the last 2 miles. Okay. And chasing him on a bike for the last 2 miles. And he immediately gets arrested. And I love the dialogue between Denman's character, the cop, and Terry. And Aaron Pierre, just incredible performance.
Oh, dude,
but
Aaron Pierre.
The presence that he brings to this, even as he's on the floor, getting handcuffed, just saying, what am I getting arrested for? And even like if you watch him, here's a fun activity. Okay, and I recommend everyone to do this. After you watch it for the first time, go back and watch every interaction he has with cops. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is a very, very obviously very conscious decision on Aaron's part on how he plays Terry. He's very what's the word I'm looking for?
I want to say militaristic.
Militaristic, just very strategic on how he talks to the police, right? And you know, in this country, in certain parts of this country, ethnic and minority groups are raised to talk in a certain way to police officers versus someone that's not a minority, right? And so but it's above that. It's just he's very tactical in how he talks with the police, right? And his interactions are on the floor, and then he gets pulled up, and it's just for everything that he pulls up, the police have something ready to say against him, right?
Yes. Oh.
And it just plants the seed that something fishy is going on here. Clearly, they've been doing this for a while. That they know how to find a loophole, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I love that writing. I love just that engagement, that dialogue between the two, because he brings up something and they immediately say something to loophole it against him, almost a get out of jail card.
Yeah.
for them.
The thing that I think I loved about the opening, and probably why it might end up becoming like top movie for the year for me, is like you said, the dialogue in this movie, especially at the beginning. There's like this a couple sequences where it gets a little muddy, and I'm gonna chop it up to maybe they had a different plan and they had to pivot a little bit and they kept some of the stuff. But these there's moments where it feels very Aaron Sorkin-esque.
Yeah.
Aaron Sorkin has a very strong he knows that a film isn't done until you have an obstacle.
Yeah.
Right? There's no, and he was already technically he has an obstacle already. And we're just introduced into a very extreme situation. The obstacle, the goal, the obstacle that the challenge he's trying to face is to bust his cousin out of jail, so that he can take him out so they can go start a life and hopefully help him start a better life.
Yeah.
The cousin we find later on when he's talking with Summers that he'd been a witness for a capital murder charge or whatever, and it was part of some possible game maybe or some whatever, and if he goes to prison, he's going to be killed.
Yeah.
High stakes.
Because he's going right now. They have him at the little county jail.
Yeah.
And right now they're going to transfer him to state.
Yes. Big no. And the fact that he gets pulled in, like you said, he goes into immediate tactical mode. We don't know his background.
Nope.
But we know that this man is poised. He is tactical. He is cooperative, and he's observant.
Yeah.
Right? He is, and then we also, we immediately hate Emery Coven as Steve Lauer. No. What's his Land.
Oh, that's
Officer Land.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Officer Land. Sometimes, I don't think we talk about this enough. There are people who play just the bad guy and they just make you not like them at all.
Yeah.
And that is a superpower.
I'm glad you bring that up, because let's talk about our antagonist for a second. So you have the initial cops, right? And immediately, I hate these dudes.
Yes,
especially Lan.
Yes.
Right? I just can't. You don't like them. And it's great writing and beautiful performance, again, as well. To be able to bring, like you said, it's a talent to just dislike someone right away.
Yeah.
But then you have Don Johnson, okay? Chief Sandy.
Yes.
Okay? And we later find out, and the whole premise of the story is that these civil asset forfeitures, and here, let me pull up the Wikipedia page for those that maybe haven't seen it, but essentially it allows law enforcement to take assets from people who are suspected of involvement of crime or any illegal activity,
and then
without having to charge them of any wrongdoing.
And then it's not even about the person, it's about the money versus the state, and then it basically evaporates.
Yeah. And so in this small town in the middle of nowhere, Alabama, okay, we later find out from Chief Sandy that these small police departments aren't getting funded. They are being
pushed out, essentially.
Yeah, exactly, by either state troopers or whatever it may be, right? And so they need to be able to justify their existence.
Yeah.
And so they keep this money. They put these individuals in jail for 90 days, and then release them over small discrepancies.
Yeah.
Keep their assets, keep all the money, and then get them out, all legally.
Yes.
And so I love this. This is the motivating factor, right?
Yeah.
I was listening to an interview that Jeremy did, the director and writer, and he was asked, like, did you build a story based on the character of Terry, or was it based on this situation? And he's like, oh no, it was based on the civil asset forfeitures. I wanted to tell a story about this this law that we have in America that allows a lot of agencies to get away with all of this stuff. And then I built my character of Terry. And I thought that was unique because you when you wanted to watch this, you kept saying, like, let's reference this to like Jack Reacher.
I was saying that I think this is a better Jack Reacher than Jack Reacher.
Yeah. And the thing with Jack Reacher is that, what's the author's name? I can't remember.
Oh, yeah. Anyways.
But he designed that series based on Jack.
Yeah.
Right? On the character, and then this individual put into these situations to help veterans, to help whatever, right? Whereas it's the opposite here. You have the problem, the law, this weird loophole in the criminal justice system, and then let's build these players around this issue. And I think, just real quick, I think that's what drives this story so well, is that you have this inciting issue, and now we can put these players around it to drive our story forward.
And I think the thing that I think I love about this is, like, because it is about that situation, we can have the stories that happen within the movie. We have the A story and B stories. This movie has got a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I think it's because the through line is this one thing, and it doesn't get fully developed. We think it's about one, right? We think it's about just Terry and his cousin.
Yeah.
Right? But it is the through line of this fortress and what it's doing to this town and what it's done to him and his cousin that then ends up driving him to want to make things right, at least for Summer and for himself to a degree.
Yeah. Because unfortunately, his cousin dies in prison, right?
Man, dude, that scene.
Can
we talk? Let's talk about this scene.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we start off with the situation. He gets biked. He doesn't pester, but he is trying to understand the police a little bit more. Through this situation, his cousin, he's asked to. He's like he kind of has beef with Don Johnson,
Chief Sandy,
Chief Sandy, and he is told that he should come back the next day, and before transferring, he can see his brother, and be fine. When he shows up a minute late, even though it's probably only because he literally was biking up the road.
Yeah,
and they saw him and they told the bus driver to go.
Yeah,
and has this great scene of him biking next to this freaking prison transport bus.
That scene was a little bit weird to me. I'm not gonna lie.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
It just felt a little bit too corny and like sports. Like, I don't know. I was expecting Rudy to come out and like everyone cheering Rudy. It was good. I don't know, but
no, I mean, and I guess I don't know. I just thought it was. I think part of it is because it's a way for us to fall in love with Terry.
Yeah.
And his motive of wanting to be there for his cousin, right? And I think they do a good job in it. But because he gets moved there, he's now heightened, ends up getting pulled aside into the cop to go somewhere with the chief. And the chief then starts to explain a lot of what we just shared, which is the fact that, like, look, things happen. You know what the problem with people pissing on each other's boots is, right? Everyone gets, or doing a pissing contest, everyone gets pissed on their boots. And him explaining that, look, this, we are in a situation, things got a little heated. We shouldn't, we don't want any other trouble. We want to give you this truck that you came in, even though they freaking stole his money, and have this interaction. But we also get this interaction with Officer Marshall, David Denneman's character, who's like aside next to him, Marston, and but the tension between the two, because they have the shot that I love, is he's in the back. They're with Terry. The camera's in the backseat with Terry, and we're talking. Chief Sandy's talking, and they're having the conversation through the mirror.
Yeah. Of
the visor, and I don't know why I love it, but I do.
This movie, and we'll talk about it in a second, but this movie is so perfect at building tension and suspense.
Yeah, tension release, yeah.
Yeah. Not through action.
No.
But through the dialogue, through the script, and like you pointed out, like the blocking and the position of the camera. This scene of just being in a car and Chief Sandy telling us why his motivations and him justifying what he's doing, legally doing.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you have Terry in the back, and just we're seeing this conversation through the mirror, right? And it's just Don Johnson's just incredible, first of all.
Yeah.
But like that tension, and then when they get out and they tell him, like, get out, like, we won't press charges, like, just don't come back. Here's the money, leave, right? Like it's just a perfect environment. You're in this enclosed space. You're having your character, your antagonist, tell us why he's doing what he's doing, and then we are finding out along with Terry what's happening. But there's just so much happening. We're headed to the hospital. Is the cousin alive? He's arrested. What's the situation? Which another filmmaker would have probably written that whole scene at the police station.
Yeah,
right.
Yes,
and it would have taken away that tension. Right. They would have grabbed him, arrested him, and then would have put him in a cell and told them why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah,
right?
And then he would have been stuck there, not at the hospital, not be able to see his cousin or whatever. Like it would have definitely been a different dynamic for sure.
Yeah.
This moment is just so strong, and I love that you put it that way. Because I don't think I realized that. Like he's building tension with the dialogue.
Yeah.
And we're not necessarily, the entire time we want action.
Yeah.
For me, sure. I kept waiting for a moment of action, a big one.
Uh-huh.
And the moments that they do, they're very deliberate, they're very explosive and methodical, and I think it's like, when I think about Reacher, I've read a lot of Reacher books. I really like the Reacher novels.
Yeah.
Lee Child does great. That's who writes it.
That's right.
And I know that the Reacher series on Amazon is great. I really love what's his book? The Tank. What's his name?
Alan Richardson.
He does great. And as the story is for Reacher, Alan Richardson is a phenomenal job. Even Tom Cruise, even though he's not like a Reacher, he carried himself as a Reacher, and I think that goes a lot.
Yeah.
But what I think Pierre and Jeremy did in this movie for Terry Richmond is they crafted somebody who, honest to me, he's just better because he's not necessarily a vagabond, right? Like Reacher is, and he whatever, but we don't really know what his full reasoning was to go into the military, and then ends up finding a skill set and finding some sort of purpose. But we also know that his cousin was involved with some bad people.
Yeah.
Which means that he may have been, or could have been, right? There's a lot to Terry Richmond that I just love, and that we don't get enough. That I'm glad that we don't get a lot of, and it's just about the situation that he's in, and that he's such a strong character to address the situation in this scenario. Because let's be honest, the police they are fierce, and they will do whatever.
Yeah. You know, I just I kept getting two vibes from this movie. First Blood, the first Rambo movie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, he comes strolling into this North Pacific town.
Yeah.
And exacts revenge on the local police. But this movie is a modern day Western.
Oh, you're right.
Now that we've been doing more Westerns, right?
Yeah.
This movie is nothing more than a modern day Western. You have a stranger that rides into town, literally. Okay. And finds a corrupt local police group, and then has to right the wrong of what they're doing, right? Like half of the old Westerns are this, right? Like that's what they are. And I just love it. But I love it more because of the tension, the suspense that's built in. And to your point, like you wanted these action sequences, but they're few in between. They're brief as well. And there's no big I mean, yes, there's that big shootout at the end, right? But like not from Terry's part.
Yeah, that's the thing that I thought is so interesting. I love that Jeremy put the character for Terry Richmond as the Marine martial arts instructor, which means that he was training the best, of the military to do hand-to-hand combat, and we get to see that in this situation, and I love it. It is so methodical, and it is it's ballsy.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And I just, something that I really love is just in these fight sequences, and the one that I loved, right? It's the first time that he goes to Don Johnson, right?
After he's upset.
Yeah, you have the two that are trying to get the Wi-Fi running.
I know.
To see if they can get any information on him.
Yeah.
What? You're creating tension. You're building this tension, and like a bullet doesn't get shot.
No.
Right? It's the tension, and you have the beautiful blocking and setting, and the camera just gets right there several times, either at the two of them when Terry's explaining to Chief Sandy what was the acronym? PACE? Was it PACE?
Yeah.
Right? And then when he pulls out the gun and like the camera just cuts right,
and he grabs the freaky. Oh yes.
And the cutting, the editing, the use of these skills as a filmmaker is what creates the tension. No gun is fired. He puts him in a chokehold, which I love. I mean, obviously the metaphor of a black man putting cops on a chokehold is just so rewarding.
Dude, I feel Hollywood. This does not feel like a blockbuster. And yet, it feels so much better than every action blockbuster that we get. And I think there's the level of tension that not only is built prior to anything happening, any action happening, but then I think what I think I like, it comes down to is like, this feels like he did his due diligence. I feel. I don't know if there's any behind the scenes stuff on like the martial, like why he went this route. There is a behind the scenes of Pierre talking about David Denneman and him dragging him.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen this?
No, I haven't. Denman's a big guy. He's like 6'5".
So they had this. Sorry, side tangent. They have this BTS of Pierre talking about the fact that him and Jeremy that he was going to be pulling David, and they were going to have him on the wire, but there was like this small like susurros, like little whisperings of that he would be doing it without wires. And so like everyone was like waiting for this moment. Anyways, it's really great. If you haven't watched it, it's fun. He's like, okay, well, I just gotta do it. Anyways,
but then also going back to that final big sequence, a big shootout there at the station, right? He doesn't fire a gun. He fires those. I mean, he fires He fires a smoke grenade launcher. Yeah.
And he fires other like some kind of other
like that shotgun that like it's just full of what are those called? The
pellets? No. I think he only
like
throws
bean bags.
No, because he has a shotgun, but he just he doesn't shoot a fire shotgun, does he? He empties a shotgun.
He empties the shotgun, yeah.
And then he throws like a grenade, some kind of grenade that has like some sort of like shrapnel thing that isn't lethal, but it hurts.
Yeah.
And it's disruptive. And then, but it felt very like real.
It felt very real. Again, the position of the camera is constantly at a low angle.
Yes.
Which creates this sense of Terry just being dominant, right? In this chaos. Because it's like 15, 20 cops against one guy.
Yeah.
Right? And so even though there is chaos and he's outnumbered, by putting that camera at a low angle, we feel like he's going to overcome this, right? Like he feels empowered and ready to take on this entire police force. But there's several times where like you have the car here, the cop on the other side, another one behind it, and again going back to the blocking and the choreography of this, just being able to shift around and have him take out all these individuals. It's just well choreographed for a movie where I was expecting big, massive action sequences. And again, and maybe I'm just going back to Extraction, right?
Yeah.
This is not at all that. Like,
yeah, but
nothing at all. And I love both movies.
Yeah,
but again, it's just the use of the camera here to create that tension in these action sequences without having our protagonist fire a gun and hurt someone is phenomenal filmmaking.
I think it's also just a point that, like, you know, are we using, like, I don't know, there's a lot of political points that are being made in this movie
without like telling you, you know?
Yes, and it's just smart filmmaking.
Yeah.
And I think I really appreciate that. I think it's maybe part of what it comes to me is that, like, it felt fresh. It felt, it feels real. Like, it feels like, not that I want to have this ever happen, but it feels like a situation like that could end up being like somebody, if they're trained like Jeremy is.
And they've been wrongfully...
something happened, you know, a situation happens.
Some wrongdoing happened against him.
Let's not even say it's like this person versus cop. It's just like this person is in a situation who ends up protecting citizens.
Yeah.
Because they knew how to, right? Very much feel like this would be how things would play out. It's not like people don't want to die.
Yeah.
Right? People they don't have second lives, right? It's not like, you know, I think of, you know, action movie stars are always coming in. They'll come in guns a-blazing.
Yeah.
And we know the hero is always going to, you know, John Wick. We think of John Wick.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Right? Although he gets hit, whatever, there's other elements. But at the end of the day, we know he's going to be the winner.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. There are very clear moments. Like, if a gun gets fired, is he going to be the winner?
Yeah. And I love that you mentioned this. It's a smart filmmaking movie from all aspects, from the technicality of it, from the script, from the character decisions. And it's not throwing something at you. So I didn't watch the trailer for this. I just went straight into it.
I actually didn't watch the trailer either.
And let me tell you, like, I loved not doing that, because at first, again, that opening sequence, but first I was like, oh man, like, this is going to be like
John Wick.
Like John Wick, and like we're going after a bunch of racist cops. It's not that.
Yeah.
Right? And then as we continue on, it's like this political procedural drama, right? And then the action sequence, and it's, which is why I love a movie that makes me feel so many emotions, the tension, the release, the just like what's gonna happen next. This movie did it perfectly. But going back to like the villains or the antagonists, like, yeah, could a couple of these cops be racist? Most definitely.
Yeah.
Right? But you look at Chief Sandy, like, not that I'm ever like, oh man, I see what you're doing, like, good for you. No. Like, I see why he's doing what he's doing. Doesn't make it right.
Right.
But that's what makes such a great villain. You have two types of antagonists here.
Yeah.
Officer Land, 100% he's racist.
Oh, 100%. For sure.
But then Chief Sandy, he's just trying to keep his department alive. He's trying to feed families, right? He's trying to do what he can to justify his existence, his job.
Not only that, but he ends up becoming to a town that could be dead. I've been to towns like that. When I was working in Memphis, there were towns in Arkansas that literally were dying.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that was possible. But there is. There are towns out there that have nothing. Mm-hmm. They're being stripped of any sort of like additional assistance. Their schools are not great. You know, like people aren't moving there. There's no development. It is sad.
Yeah.
Right? I've been there, like literally been there. And it is not a place you want to be. Mm-hmm. People they only live there because maybe they had a house or whatever. And so like what you can understand, there's a level of like, okay, I see what's happening here. And that other people, and I think this is where I think I came to where we came to some of our struggles. There's a sequence where they're trying to find more information so that they can get the evidence that they need in order to get there. It's a little, it's not necessarily choppy. It's
a little muddy.
It's a little muddy, and I think part of it is because they have to do it in one night. They're trying to burn the building that houses the evidence stuff.
Yeah.
The evidence, and then they're also they end up having to go to other individuals. And I think part of where the struggle is that we haven't actually got, we didn't get enough time with we didn't have any interactions outside of the one interaction we get with the judge. We just get context from Summer. Mm-hmm. And we just get this perspective that the guy who is Summer's boss is just the guy coming in, clocking it in, and is skeptical of. He's just trying to. He wants to be helpful, but also is just doing the job.
Yeah.
He's like, after hours, I'm out. Right. Mm-hmm. Like, you can come back tomorrow and we'll do with it later. Blah blah blah. But he, like, watching it the second time, I definitely know, like, he knows stuff, and he's like, he knows what's happening.
Yeah.
And I think it could have just been a little bit more, but if Terry had an interaction with those characters,
okay,
or at least the judge a little bit more, to some degree. But I think it's totally fine if you're not. I think you notice it on the second watch, in my opinion.
Sure, yeah.
Anyways, but man, this movie. What, okay, I want to know two things, because I want to know for sure favorite scene, but I also want to know who you feel like the standout character to you, like, was the one that, like, maybe drove home for you for this movie, that, like, oh yes, this, because of this character or this situation, whatever.
Yeah, favorite scene, it really is that interaction with Chief Sandy and Terry, right? They're just, after the second time, right, that they come out and they're trying to figure out the Wi-Fi and whatnot, right? You have this tension. You're learning what the Marine Corps, what his role was in the Marines, right? Yep. The one mine, any weapon, right? And then I just love, you have the camera. It's not looking at both of them. It's over the shoulder on both parts, right?
Yes.
And it just keeps cutting back and forth. And you have this tension, and there is no punches that are thrown, nothing. And I don't know. Like, this might sound like amateur of me, but when you think of action movies, right, you're thinking of like the big gun sequences, the camera swooping over to the left, panning to the right, the punches, ducking and whatnot.
Yeah.
This is not it. It's done through like quick edits and cuts.
Yeah. So this is the thing that I thought was, so Jeremy, he's building the tension between the dialogue, the over the culture, cutting to Lan, who's like hurried up because he can feel that something big is going to happen.
Keep some space between you.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. When he finally figures out what happens, right? He's like, okay, put some space here, and him checking back, and then we get the close up, and then we get the sequence of Terry. It's like, it's not quite a full wide. It's a mid.
Yeah.
It's a mid shot of Terry disassembling the gun, and then putting Chief Sandy in a place that he needs to be, but then so that he can get close enough to Lan to let Lan know that he's in charge, because that's all he needed to know, even though he never learns the lesson. Goes back to Chief, right? But it doesn't follow the same action sequence. And I think this is a smart move because of what you were saying earlier. This is not about the character nor the motivation. The motivation is about the other thing, right? We're not, the only time he cuts is to cut on the action in order to switch. But honestly, I think there's only 2 cuts in the fight sequence.
It's just incredible. And I don't know, for not having like a John Wick character that's just takes everyone out or whatever, it is just perfectly choreographed, perfectly edited and shot. And it creates a tension because like Lan is coming out. There's at the beginning of that sequence, not beginning, it's like middle of that sequence, but like he's talking, he's explaining the acronym.
Yes.
And then Lan finds out what his Marine, what his specialty was. And so he comes out and he says, keep distance between him. And so then Sandy looks back. But when he says that, the camera's looking, it's over the shoulder, over Terry. It's looking at Don Johnson. And then in the back out of focus, you have the Lan. And it comes into focus, then out of focus again. And you just see Don Johnson's like face just drop. And he's like, what?
Yeah.
And then it's just so good. I literally have seen that, the opening sequence and that that piece I've seen like 4 or 5 times. I just skip right to it.
Dude, it's
so good. Highlight performance though, I mean Aaron Pierre did incredible as Terry Richmond. He brings this gravitas, just this presence to him, and not just like because he's tall, but like this confidence, this humility in this awesome action character. But like when he finds out that his cousin dies, like he just breaks down. Yeah. And like real. It feels very real, and I love that. And I also thought Anna Sophia Robb was incredible. Yeah. Right. I think the last movie I'd seen her was in those the Chronicles when she was a child actor. Yeah. But like the Bridge to Terabithia. That's the one. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I have seen. It's been a while.
So sad. Yeah, she was incredible. I want more of this character. I really do.
Yeah, I do too.
It'll be interesting if they make more.
I don't know if they'll make more, but I do. If I remember correctly, Jeremy and Pierre, like, they hit it off really, really well.
Yeah.
In fact, Jeremy, I think, says in an interview somewhere that like the true gem that came out of this movie is him meeting Pierre.
Yeah.
And so I do believe that they'll end up. I could easily see them making other movies that end up making their careers together. I could also see Pierre following a like Ana de Armas feel, where she gets noticed and then all of a sudden gets these other amazing, like she gets, he gets put into like as a semi small role and then gets put into a bigger role of some kind.
Yeah.
And just, I'm excited to see Pierre's career.
Let me tell you this. So, he's voicing Mufasa in the prequel.
Oh,
And you know this. I could not care for this movie. I still haven't seen The Lion King, the
yeah, me neither.
live action,
Yeah.
quote unquote. But now, I'm kind of wanting to watch it just because, of course, he's going to play Mufasa, young Mufasa. Like, he has that ability, that voice, and just to be able to just come in and bring that presence, confidence, and vulnerability to this animated character, I think would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see more of Aaron Pierre.
Sweet.
For you?
Okay, so I have to go with the opening sequence.
It's so good.
I think the opening sequence is, I mean, I wanted to say the ending, but...
Oh, we didn't even talk about the ending, but yeah, go on.
I mean, I'm going to say one line. I'm going to say one thing about the ending. The moment that he's at the I'm not going to spoil this part because I think it's a good twist. A cop who is not a bad cop ends up not so bad. Whoops, too loud. He's not so bad. In any case, gets hurt, and so Pierre helps him out. In any case, he is causing distraction. The police don't really know where he's at. He's like you said, the camera's down low, kind of following him. And he is fighting back this crew trying to there. But then he has a shotgun. He empties the shotgun and is walking with freaking purpose. Throws the shotgun at a police officer who is caught off guard. Ends up taking him down.
Yeah.
It's just so good. But the sure win is him like following the truck, waiting for the officer to come around. And just this scene alone in acting, not just let alone like the actual, anyways, him grabbing or like pushing the gun up as the police is firing, or it's Land fires the gun. It gets me every freaking time that I'm like, because I think I was like, I want to watch it again. But anyways, I do think that the opening scene is like truly my favorite. It's so abrupt. It's so strong. It is literally captivating, but then it slows.
Yeah,
and I just really appreciate that. I think that for me, I was gonna say Pierre too, but honestly, I'm torn between Summer and Don Johnson. I think Don Johnson really. I think if Don Johnson, not only is the Chief Sandy's character written the way he is, but not having Don Johnson be there, I don't think it would have landed as great.
I agree with that. Because
there's something to be said about Don Johnson's like arrogant yet somewhat semi-welcoming, condescending voice that just sets you off, but also he just fits the role. He fit the role so great. So great job to the casting directors and locking him in. I don't know if he'd gotten changed or not due to delay everything that happened. So if it did, win-win for us.
Yeah, no, I was listening to an interview he did, Jeremy did, and he said that when he was writing the script, he was in the middle of watching Watchmen. Did you see Watchmen? The
series?
The series.
Yeah, I did watch the series.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's really good.
He's in it.
He is.
And I guess there's this scene in one of the episodes over during a dinner that he has a very big moment. And he said when he watched that scene, he's like, this is Chief Sandy and I need him. And he got on a call with him and pitched the movie to him. So Don, luckily, was his original pick and stayed on through all the bumpy roads in the production. And this movie would have been very different with someone else.
I don't think it would. I don't know if I would have enjoyed it as much, for sure.
What a great movie! Look, I cannot recommend it enough. Go watch it. It's great.
Look, I'm kudos.
I think this is the best Netflix movie of the year.
Yeah. I mean, kudos to Netflix for sure for sticking with their guns. And bravo to Jeremy and team. Like, truly a super great gem. I'm happy I watched it. It just came up and I was like, oh, I guess I'll throw it on. And the opening scene literally just like, I was like, okay, I'm here. So phenomenal. I hope we get more of Terry Richmond. And if we don't, I will be happy still.
No, we're gonna be getting more. I hope so. I just going back to Jeremy's point of like he didn't want to write a character. He wanted to write a situation around this civil forfeiture law. So to bring back Terry, what can we get him into that would make Terry want to come back and not be not be Rambo, not be Reacher, but like what would motivate Terry to be put in a situation where he has to go at it again?
Yeah.
I think that's what's hard.
That is hard. But in any case, if anything, maybe they'll write up some other story and that we get more of, of what because I don't know, the physicality of him on screen is just phenomenal.
Incredible.
Well, we hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. We went rambly, but no, we didn't. It was amazing. This is a great episode.
It's a great movie.
We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, and we would love it, truly love it, if you could just subscribe wherever you get your podcast, or do it on YouTube, because we do a lot of stuff there too. And YouTube's doing a lot of cool things that hopefully we can make more of a community there. So head over there, hit the subscribe button, like, notifications, whatever. And really helps us get discovered.
Yeah, and we really want to hear from you. What do you think of Rebel Ridge? What did we miss? What are your favorite moments? You can always connect with us on social, on all of our socials at Real Chums, or feel free to email us at your@realchums.com. You can connect with me on Twitter at Marstrosity, MarCtrosity.
Or me at Rubio_TV. And join us next week as we watch Joker in preparation for Joker.
Folie à deux.
Good. I'm glad you said it because I was like, how do I say that again?
Look, we're in between next month, which we're going to be doing our big Halloween month long of spooky, thriller, scary movies.
We should do another poll.
We're going to do a poll, so get on social, follow us there as we'll do a poll of what movies we're going to be doing. So right now in between, we have Joker Folie à deux coming out in a couple of weeks. You have not seen Joker.
I have not seen Joker.
So let's watch it. Let's talk about it. And we'll see how Folie à deux does. I don't know why I say it like that.
Because it's French, man. Folie à deux. Sacre bleu.
We'll catch you guys next time.